Yes, he will be captain. I mean, each individual has been a little bit different. You know, when I had the first conversation with Steph, I could sense right away his professionalism and his drive, and his ambition and his desire to be the best that he could be and take Canada soccer as far as it possibly could go. And I think his overall energy and professionalism and determination is really makes him unique. I think this is one of the things about him personally that is really special and fun to be around. So with him, you know, it's been asking more like, okay, how do we raise the standards of things? What do you think has been good, and how can we evolve that, and how do we get there, and where do you think it needs to go? And he has very clear opinions and again, determination to not just for himself, but for the team. And I think, and that's why he makes such a good leader.
Yeah, I think when we went to halftime, we were really happy about our first half. We had our chances, obviously. We defended well. We just needed to breathe more a little bit inside the box, you know, to make things clearer. And to be honest, I really like, you know, playing that first half with my teammates. We were always together, compact as well, willing to help each other, aggressive, intensity on the limit. I think the next step here is to really grow, you know, from that first half to keep it up on the second half, because, you know, the games are 90 minutes and every play matters. Even if we're far 1 meter, 2 meters, that can be enough for the opposition to score. So I think it's all about us growing as players, you know, not being so much boys and starting to be men's, and that comes with a lot of, you know, personality and maturity, and, you know, to be stronger on those second halves.
Really far. However, I'm really encouraged by the relationships that we've already created, the work that we've done together, the training sessions, and the response to the things that I want to see from the team. You talk about the first half. There's segments of all of the match that I was pleased with. But obviously, it's always disappointing when you walk away 4-0, and we all know that there's a long way to go, you know. And what I said to the team was, if our goal in 2026 is to get to 100, and right now we're at 50, we've got to take steps every day to get closer to that. And we have to make sure that even against these big opponents where the game can feel overwhelming at times and be very challenging, that we're still establishing the foundation and the basis for what we want to become moving forward. So yeah, we know looking forward to playing against France that they will challenge us in every single way of anything that we want to do on the pitch. But the key for us will be to stay strong, to stay clear, and to never allow their quality and their ability to play to make us unstable, but to really still continue to go after the game in all the ways we want to. Yes and no. I mean, you have to be more creative with how to get certain concepts and tactics and strategies across to the players. You can't always work on the pitch intensively the way you would want. However, these players are used to being in this environment, in a national team environment, where they have to have different ways of learning than always applying it on the pitch. And they've been very intelligent with their ways of adapting. So again, it gives me real optimism on how quickly we can convert this into what we want it to become. Yes, and by the way, I was an assistant, so I know a little bit in the U.S. What the environments are like. And yeah, I spoke to many coaches, international coaches, and many that were once club coaches, and then how they adapted and what things they valued. And there's a lot of lessons there, but it's even interesting because after the first game, I was a little bit clear as to some of the things that I spoke with about these people. And I'm like, that's why they say that, because when this happens and in short time periods and this develops and we need to move here and we need to do this and we need to develop certain things, then I realize, yeah, it's the precision at which I'm able to communicate and coach this team will be the biggest help for them to adapt quickly. The French team had one more day rest than us, and I think they will rotate some players. I I think that there are some similarities between the Dutch and the French, but I think the French play with more power and athleticism, even though the Dutch team is also very powerful and athletic. So, there's some tactical differences in the way that the two teams approach the game, but there'll be certainly another standard of play that we will have to adapt and adjust to. And that's the main thing is we'll look at the French and we'll think about how to address what they do, but it will be really important for us to try to continue to establish the way that we want to play, but also respecting what the French will try to achieve and also understanding what the level of play will be like, because this still has to be, in this moment, as much as we're trying to establish our way of playing, the biggest takeaway we need to have is what are the highest games, the best games and the best opponents? What is the feel of what that is when you're in the middle of it? And I think that the team learned a lot on Thursday, and I expect us to learn a lot more again on Sunday. Yeah, the obvious mistake I think any coach in this situation would want to make is that you want to squeeze a million things into a short amount of time. And the danger you have in that situation is overloading the players and then confusing everyone. So I've tried to be very clear with the messaging and with the foundation that we're trying to lay. And I've also tried to make it interactive, right? And not just about throwing information at them, but also hearing what they have to say and hearing what they're seeing when they're on the pitch, what they're feeling when they're on the pitch, how they think the pieces and the tactics fit together, and do they feel empowered by that? Do they feel weakened? Do they feel challenged? And what things can we think about so that we can all move together in a good way? And in that, I think they've all had a lot of thoughts and contributed a lot to the clues to how we're going to move forward. And that's the way I like to work, is that it feels like it's a collective project and not me just telling them what to do. So, and in that sense, I think it makes it more fun, by the way, as well. And so I think that the discussions and the video sessions and the training and everything, there's been a lot of energy because I think the guys are enjoying it. So Gregoire has performed really well with us. He's not with the team right now. So we just had him for the initial portion because we wanted him to train with us and get to know him a little bit. And then we wanted him to have a little break before he goes in with the U20s this summer down in Chile. But I tell you, we were all really impressed with him. And even when the team, just getting to know him, when the team said goodbye to him, I think everybody felt like, because of the way he performed and the way that he interacted with the guys in the team, that he fit in really well and showed his talent in training and showed his personality in the group. And I expect that we will see him again shortly. And I expect him to also be a big leader in Chile and have really good performances down there to help our U20 team have a good tournament. It's always being on top of any task that I have, obviously being aggressive, try to command the players that are in front of me, but as well as the back. I feel very confident because the coach gives me a lot of confidence to really play my role in this team. For the first half, as I said, I felt pretty amazing, but the second half, and my fault as well, I didn't feel that we were so compact, and I think that's my next lesson. When things start to go south, and when we don't have the game in our hand, just try to lead more in that aspect, and just keep things together, keep things balanced, because we have proper weapons up top and at the bench that we can score a goal and get back in the game anytime. So yeah, I think that's my next step. I'm focused on that task. Obviously, tomorrow's going to be a very hard game. We're not going to be on top of the game the 90 minutes, and I think in those times where the game is in a hard place, you guys can expect on my side that I'll try to help my teammates, gather and be very compact, so that will make it hard for France. Yeah, I think, Steph and I even had a conversation before that obviously the more, he's such a high-level player and he's playing at such a great club, and it's important for all our players to be getting as many 90-minute matches as possible. And Steph knows this, and certainly he wants to play every game that he can, and this will be a key for us. And I think then, of course, the way I like to play is dynamic, and the demands that I put on them to be able to be fit and run are important, but the more connected we are in all phases of the game, the less running we will do. So they all kind of go hand in hand. However, I have spoken with the team, and I have said that, you know, one of the things is understanding from these games what high-level football is. And you can't play against high-level opponents and give yourself a chance unless you can meet certain physical demands. So it's not just the running, it's fitness levels, it's strength levels, it's investing in themselves physically, mentally, in every way, so that as we get to 2026, both in their clubs and when they're not with the national team, and then obviously when they come in the national team, that they're maximizing the potential of what they are physically, of what they are tactically, of what they are mentally, in every way, because we need our players to be mature and strong and understand how the game works at the highest level, and can we have the types of players and athletes that can meet that. The short answer is, fundamentally, we have potential to become that. And again, that's one of the reasons why I came here, is because I believe in the overall potential of the talent here. But it's my job to help them grow and understand what the best games require. And that will include not just what it's like when they're here, but also when they go back to their clubs and how they continue to develop themselves. Yeah, it's a team that is incredibly powerful and gifted. Obviously, high-level talent. Best in the world in almost every position, or in the category of best in the world in every position. And certainly dynamic and very good in transition. So it's not an easy team to prepare for, and we've already started to help the players understand how we think we can be successful on the day. But again, obviously we'll address all of the things about the French, or the basic things about the French game that they will try to do tactically. But a lot of it will be that we manage the game collectively, because if we allow the game to get open and allow their individual talent to shine all over the pitch, then for any team, that's a recipe for disaster. So we'll be we'll try to be incredibly organized, but we'll try not to be passive. We'll try to be good defensively. We'll try to be confident and clear with the ball on what we want. We'll try to prevent them from creating too many set piece situations, because they're still big and strong in that category. And you know, we'll try to stick to the things that we're trying to do and the things that we're trying to establish. So what an opportunity, what a challenge, but what a great opportunity. And I expect our players to be up for it.
Yeah, obviously it's going to be a very hard game. They have a lot of quality players, as Coach said. But I mean, we have to look at ourselves, you know, really be demanding, see what we have to do, and the threats that France have, and try to prevent that. I think we are, you know, a young team, a very young team, but we are very, very motivated. We have a lot of hunger, and I mean, this is an amazing opportunity to play against a top team. We were wishing for games like this in the past couple of years, you know, and obviously it's been very hard to get this type of competition. And it was a great lesson learned against the Dutch. Although we lost 4-0, you know, it was very good for us to play at that level. And now France, a very demanding team as well. It's going to be nice to play against these top players, you know, players that won the Champions League as well. So yeah, it's gonna be a big mission, but I think we're capable of surprising. We're capable. It's football, 11v11.
Richie will be available. So we had him on the bench last game, but we had no plans to play him. He will be available to play this match, and I would expect that he gets some minutes. Alistair appears to be ready, but we have to do a couple of last 24-hour kind of measurements with him to make sure that he's in good shape, but he appears to have come out of it okay. No, I'm confident that as difficult as the game will be tomorrow, that we'll be able to manage it in a really good way. And really, obviously, when I took this job and I looked at the schedule, I knew that we were going to be in some early challenges, and that it was going to be a test on my leadership more than even my coaching. And I've tried to, in a very strong way, be clear with the players that the focus on us, establishing the things that we want to be about, sticking together in a strong way, is going to be the core of what we become. And our focus is completely and entirely on using every moment we have together to better prepare ourselves for what 2026 is going to be. And that will be no different for this match or any match that we ever play.